Transformers number 18. And I just have to say, overall, I've just been enjoying the Transformers storyline. Again, this book has just been playing all the right notes when it comes to my fandom. From the nostalgia I've had for Transformers, all the way up to the artwork that didn't fall off once Daniel Warren Johnson decided to just uh, focus on storyline for this particular book. So again, we come back. There's a new member that was added to Transformers. Looks like the Autobots have. His name is Shredhead. We don't get a whole lot about him, but apparently he's just the maverick needed to turn the tides of the battle. Also, in this book, I mean, we just have just elements of uh, severely traumatized Magnus and what's going on with him, and the Autobots really trying to um, uh, find out what they can do to help him um, to return back to normal, um, assuring him that they're going to be there for him. Uh, but this book, I mean, you just have to give it up to uh, Daniel Warren Johnson because he really just captures that feeling of the '80s first gen Transformers, um, um, cartoon versus comics. That the translation that he's just been able to um, bring those together. A lot of times, sometimes you can be nostalgia about. Uh, I find for me, I can be nostalgic about you know a TV show that I grew up watching that that had characters that were endearing to me, and just being able to capture that inside the pages of a comic. I imagine that could be quite challenging because, again, you're trying to uh, not necessarily bring back those days or the type of nostalgia that was felt during that time, but at least capture some of it so that that the characters remain familiar and uh, and, and again resonate with you once again. Uh, Maybe not quite the same way, but there's still this bond there or relationship there that you remember having when enjoying the animation. So anyhow, again, Transformers. It's been a great book. I don't see myself having any reason to uh, stop collecting or picking up this book. I love, again, like I said, how they've recaptured the essence of the care of the Transformer universe, or this Energon universe, Energon verse, whatever you want to call it. How they just really have been very the word's not disciplined. I think I want to say they've just been very deliberate in making sure that that we get that feeling of the Transformers once again. And um, not to spoil anything, but we get the return of a character that I have been waiting for since this book has relaunched. And again, I won't spoil it, but I'll put it this way: it upon this character's return, you understand why uh, this character is essential to being a part of this of this great battle between these two these two forces, the Autobots and the Decepticons, and how um, basically he along with some other characters that you may have that I at one time considered was the glue to the Transformer book. You realize, wow, this particular character is definitely um, uh, a bond that holds these two factions together quite uniquely. So, yeah, uh, Transformers issue number 18. I definitely give it 4 stars.
Please don't fail me now. Betty, Betty, Betty. There's a bat in my house. Someone go get my stick. Please don't fail me now.
Batman and Robin issue 19 with art by Rafa Sandoval and writing by Philip Kennedy Johnson. This book has been an up and down book for me, all in all. I don't know what it is. Something about the villain Memento. He's just not that captivating for me. I don't really feel like Batman has been challenged by uh, this new uh, villain added to his rogue, his gallery of rogues. And really, the story between him and Damian growing apart, or there being some kind of distance between the two of them, just hasn't resonated with me all that well. I'm really a big fan of Philip Kennedy Johnson's writing. I don't know what it is, particularly about this book. His writing was great on the Hulk and Superman action comics, but I don't know. It just this one hasn't really kicked off the way I was expecting it. In this particular issue, again, um, it just seems like another Batman book that's on the shelf. And I can't complain about the art. The art's been decent. Excuse me, the art is Javier Fernandez. I said Rafa Sandoval. So that's a correction there. I mean, it's Batman and Robin. And again, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but there's just something that's just seems to be off in this particular iteration of Batman in this storyline. But if I were to rank it, I'd say I'd give it about a 3. This particular issue was 2 stars. Sorry, I many times I just didn't. The book didn't hold my interest. I tried to go back and reread it, and other than the the detective from London, there's not much here. There's not much meat on this bone. So um, we'll see. There's one more book and then the finale for this arc. Hopefully, he can bring it all together uh, in this last issue. Again, this one I would rank this book 2 stars. Next book up is Geiger, issue number 12. Uh, Story by Jeff Johns, art by Gary Frank. And Geiger, what can I say, man? This book never disappoints me. Um, just the story of Tariq and his journey as the quote glowing man, quote unquote, uh, and how he's wound up to where he is at this particular point in life. Tariq, um, at this phase of his life, he's run into um, someone known as the Glowing Woman, aka Ashley Arden, and he's been on a journey to try to learn how to control his powers when he goes radioactive. Um, and finally, he meets again Ashley, who is someone somewhat considered his contemporary or peer, uh, and he's at a place where um, he's willing to take instruction. Last issue, we saw that Tariq was resistant. He had lost hope, according to um, where he was at that time. But now um, we find him in an remote area with Ashley, aka the Glowing Woman, um, uh, going through a training session, and she tells him to, take his best shot at releasing his powers. And Tariq, being the pessimist that he is, just hesitant and very uh, cautious, um, to believing that he can control these abilities. The one thing I will say about Geiger is that this book is, if you're the type of reader that is really looking for like bombastic, um, super hero, super villain confrontations, this book is probably um, not going to be uh, your particular what you're looking for in a comic. I say that in that um, I find that the way that Johns has been writing Tariq and or the book Geiger altogether is one of uh, a man that's embarked on different stage. We find him at different stages of his journey. We find them at one stage, not to give away too much if you haven't read previous issues. One stage dealing with the fact of being cancer um, survivor. Another stage of being someone who uh, looking to protect his family, and then another stage where uh, he's his original family, or the family that he has when we first meet Tariq, is no longer with him, but he sort of adopts a secondary family. And so this is really a book about uh, phases of life. And depending on, like I said, the type of reader that you are, if you're looking for like a deeper storyline, a little deeper arc, this book may be for you. But if you're again wanting to see someone that's thinks he can save the world, or his mission is to again be the sole protector of whatever cause or mission he's assigned himself, then at this point in the story, at least for right now, this is not that's not the story you're going to get. What I have been enjoying Geiger, and again, the artwork is just what can I say? Très magnifique. You know, storytelling is in line with the pacing of the scenery that Gary Frank creates, surrounding these characters. it's just I really every month I look forward to this book coming out. Um, so again, I'm not going into too many details about what happens in this issue, but if you're looking for just a book that's consistent in the storytelling, that is going to have some of that, that fantastical display of artwork, while pretty much staying grounded. Um, this is a book for you. Again, Geiger number 12. I give this one 3 stars, and the only reason I'm giving it 3 stars instead of 4 or 5 is because, again, if you're just now coming into the story at this point, you may not have a whole lot of background on Geiger as a character, and so you're gonna be lost for maybe the uh, first couple of panels or so, but then you'll get the gist of what uh, Jeff Johns is really trying to bring about in this book. Again, like I said, I only gave it 3 stars because, again, I'm thinking of the perspective of your new reader, or you haven't been following consistently. It's going to take you a while to really. Um, I mean, just look at this. Look at this panel. Wow. So yeah, it's going to take you a while to really catch a vibe or find a connection with the characters. But Geiger, 3 stars. Definitely put it on your pull list. Our next book is Absolute Superman number 5. And this book is written by Jason Aaron and art by Rafa Sandoval. I got it right this time. What can I say about Absolute Superman? It has been an interesting read on my pull list. Um, it came in first issue, great acclaim. Second issues, still still had enthusiasm for the book. But now we're at issue number 5, and the book has, for lack of a better term, I don't want to say it's plateaued, but it's starting to um, hit a point in the storytelling that I feel needs that it needs to start picking up the pace. And I only say that is because uh, for those that have been following Superman or know the story of Superman um, over the many decades that the character has existed, we pretty much um, have a view of what we generally expect Superman to be. And typically, that view is uh, an everyman's hero. And when I say everyman's hero, uh, I mean to be more precise, the people's hero. Superman as a character is supposed to be a hero for the people, typically. I think one of the things with the absolute universe um, being created to start some retellings or give uh, a different side of storytelling to some of the uh, main characters in the DC Trinity, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, is to show a different perspective. And I believe that Jason Aaron, um, he's been doing, or he's giving his best shot at showing us Superman from different light. Again, we don't get the typical story of him being the sole survivor of Krypton, and launched um, from his planet to arrive on Earth and be raised um, by human beings when he's extraordinarily gifted in ways that humans could never imagine. That said, uh, I guess one of the things that's causing me, or not even causing me particularly, but one of the things that I get the feeling from this book is that uh, the Superman that I'm witnessing is one with a lot of angst. And this is not a view I'm used to having of Superman. Again, that's my own personal bias. And maybe someone from a different generation or a new reader to Superman might not feel that way. They might not have any. Um, they might not have any preconceived perceptions of Superman as a character. But it has been strange. It has been a little challenging for me to read a story about an angsty Superman. And again, the storytelling's not bad. Again, we see why Clark, or we're starting to get an idea of why Clark uh, behaves the way he has been behaving in the first couple of issues because of what he's been through. Uh, this is not a Superman that doesn't have any inclination of what Krypton, as a planet, as a culture, or the people, what they were like. This is a, uh, uh, a being who had a short time with that culture, with those people, and with those the, the society that uh, he um, for the first, I guess, for the first prepubescent years of his life grew to know. Um, Again, so staying with issue number 5, we see the fall of Krypton. Um, we see how how these uh, this society has basically um, fallen due to some hubris and some classism, um, things that um, would make this version of Superman more of like a revolutionary type of superhero. Again, this is a new perspective on Superman. I can't remember a time where Superman would be viewed as a revolutionary, um, but it is in this book that we see uh, he has become he has become he has some of those traits to his character. Uh, and if it seems like I'm dragging on about this particular issue, it's because it's this issue I feel is puts me as a reader in a tough spot. Like I want to know, okay, I'm seeing the fall of Krypton. I'm seeing what he experienced, uh, how his views on classism and injustice, and even how uh, him having a little bit of a self righteousness about himself. I'm starting to get an idea of how that developed. Uh, but and maybe it's because I didn't expect this much of a background on Krypton itself. So that's something that Aaron is making unique to this origin story of Superman. What I can say is this: um, now that we've seen the fall of Krypton, and we see how um, there's a sense of longing for home, sense of the need for justice, of being for the underdog, the those that are underrepresented in a society or in a class system or whatever the case may be. We're seeing how this is the Superman that we definitely um, um are going to um, be a part of for his journey. So instead of dragging this out, I'm going to go ahead and give my rating. This particular issue of Superman, I gave 2 stars. And I gave it 2 stars because, again, I think I'm looking for just a little bit more development. Uh, I needed a North. While all these different characteristics about Kal-El and about uh, Superman are being sprinkled kind of like in the background for us to sort of pick up on. I need a North Star. I need to find. I'm looking for that North Star. And again, there's one thing about having expectations for a particular character. I try to limit them, but um, Superman is just one of those characters that invokes like, what is this character about? I mean, the name alone, Superman. Uh, who is this? Who's is this character going to be in this world or in this universe um, that we are um, that is being conveyed to us? So again, 2 stars. Looking for a little bit more development and direction of where the book is going. I wouldn't say it's time to give up on it yet, but I could see that if this first arc um, doesn't move me to any sense of curiosity or further curiosity about this character, I could be off of this book. Uh, so again, issue number issue number 5, Absolute Superman, 2 stars. And now for the final book that I'm excited to talk about, Hell Hunters number 4 by writer Philip Kennedy Johnson and art by Adam Gordham. And let me just tell you, this book has been the shocker for me. This was not a book I thought I was going to be picking up regularly. I picked up the first issue of Hell Hunters by happen chance. I think it was a slow week when it came out. Maybe not. I'm not sure why exactly, but there was just something about uh, these characters, Ghost Rider, Nick Fury, Peggy Carter, and this new character, Wolverine, of course, and this new character, uh, Sebastian Zardos, who is like the Sorcerer Supreme at the time. But anyhow, this book is just a treat. First of all, I get to see Nazis getting their heads blown off as they should, and you don't have to like how I'm enthusiastic about that because you know nobody should be enthusiastic about any kind of Nazism or anything. Anyway, I'm not gonna get off into that. What I will say about this book is Philip Kennedy Johnson took me on a tour of something I never considered before in any other um, tale about World War II and the whole Bucky and Captain America and Bucky sidekick. That whole motif about that. As we can see, like in one of the opening pages, Bucky is buck wild in this book. And at first I was like, wow, I mean, how is this teenager or whatever, this young sidekick gonna fit in? Or how did he ever fit into any kind of World War II story? I mean, I understood at the time, from what I've been told, is that there was a thing with sidekicks, Batman and Robin, and you know Captain America, Bucky, whatever the case may be. But sidekicks used to be a thing. It was a way for, I guess, young adolescent boys to imagine themselves, you know, going on an adventure with a superhero, and then how they could be a part of it. But going back, it always in the back of my mind, and again, I know because it's comics, we accept a lot of things. But how do you fit a young sidekick in a somewhat serious tale about fighting off fascists, um, uh, dealing with violence, and being okay with that? Like it's okay for this for this character to be here. And again, in the back of my mind, it's never been okay. But we just kind of, it's something you just went along with until how Philip Kennedy Johnson has presented them in this particular book. Bear with me, hang with me for a little bit. Bucky is not okay. That is one of the things or perspective I had never imagined uh, taking or viewing this book as. Bucky is actually traumatized, and I mean he is over traumatized, and it all starts to fit together because, like, with the stories we later find out about Bucky, with him becoming the Winter Soldier, and again another trauma uh, that this character has experienced. I think the realization that this is actually a tragic tale, or the character Bucky is a tragic tale of a character that was way too traumatized by one, being in a war at such a young age, and thinking it's okay for him to be going around killing people, and being okay with it. Like there's not this inner wrestling of the of his conscience or anything like that. That's a tale that usually we don't get until much later down the road, where the character becomes an adult and he has to live with the fact that uh, he has killed people, even though they're Nazis. It's still a traumatizing thing to take another life. And the way that Philip Kennedy Johnson is presented in this book is that, yes, you know, he may be woo-ha and yee-ha and going through the motions, pretending to be just another soldier that can handle the task that's being put before him. But ultimately, Bucky, and I mean, just look at this panel here. I mean, the look on his face, you know, like there's no sense of seriousness, no sense of like, what am I doing? I mean, this is just an element that I did not expect uh, coming from. Again, this is a tale that's supposed to have happened before the current state of the MCU or Marvel Universe or 616, however you deem it. I mean, this is, you think it's about a boy having a good time, but this is a this is about someone who is being traumatized over and over and over again. And no matter how we try to rationalize that, hey, he's killing Nazis, can't be too bad. This is a place where this soldier has no place being. This child has no place being uh, around or involved with, and that is the first time I've ever really ever looked at just the whole mythos of Bucky and his involvement in the war and in the World War. And I think it just takes a very, I mean, it just takes a very creative mind to subtly uh, add an element like that to a story. And the I'm just gonna go in right here. What 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 Philip Kennedy Johnson is doing here? He's not he's not just in your face. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, look how bad this situation is. No, it's subtle. There's nuances to it that even while I'm reading this story, I'm not really even thinking about uh, Bucky as a traumatized uh, character in this tale. Um, but a little bit more about Hellhunters issue 4. We get Logan, we get Sorcerer Supreme, Nick Fury. Just going through, trying to make sure that that this war doesn't go left. And again, I think this is one of the titles that is slept on or being slept on right now. Uh, and I would, if you can find any back issues, I would recommend going back from issue 1 and reading them all. Again, this is not some deep introspective storytelling about what happened during the World War, but uh, this is a way of, okay, it's keeping it light, but realizing there is a seriousness, there is an undertone of, man, there is something sick here. And it's even this point where Bucky's cutting off heads or ears, and he's singing. And this is when I became aware of, okay, this one panel here that you see right now, this panel here is letting us know that, okay, all right, the whole Captain America and Bucky thing, it was a nice little story, and nice little narrative have, but what ultimately is the results of having something like that, or telling that narrative of allowing something like this to be a part of this war and making it okay. uh Again, artwork, I can't say enough. Adam Gordon doing a great job. you know just the darkness, but also, again, I had mentioned earlier, if you like that bombastic, over the top, flair of superhero powers and abilities, you're going to get that in this book. We even get Zarathos, and he flexes a little bit about him. A lot of times we just think Ghost Rider. We think about Johnny Blaze, but we don't really think about the alter ego that's behind the Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider. And I mean, what can I say? I would have given this book 5 stars, but again, like, uh, if you're, you know, I could see how a reader may not want to go back and have this is not a retelling, but in a sense, it's like uh, 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 pre uh, 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 tale that happened before, and a lot of readers I know sometimes don't like that. They would like something that has consequences um, in the current um, universe, and that may be the case. This story is not over with yet, but uh, you know, I would definitely recommend picking this book up. 4 stars, without a doubt, full confidence. Pick up Hell Hunters. You will not be disappointed.